I am headed up island to Protection Island, which is just off of Nanaimo, to spend the day at my dad's house. My dad has lived on this little island my whole life, so this is my home away from home. Growing up, I would spend quite a bit of time up there, and now that I'm a busy adult, it feels like I don't get up nearly as much as I would like. It does require kind of like a full day. I used to spend the night there, and more recently I'm just doing day trips. Life has just gotten a little bit more complicated on both ends. So yeah, my dad is getting this big delivery of firewood today, so my brother and I are gonna go help him stack it. And yeah, I'm just gonna make a little road trip of it. I'm gonna take you along, show you the sights. I might squeeze in a bit of a thrift mission. I always just love checking out the thrift stores in other towns, and Nanaimo has a pretty good Valley Village, and there's a couple of smaller ones along the way. So we'll just see how ambitious I get. I am trying to make the 12 o'clock ferry, so yeah, let's go have a day. This drive is always like so nostalgic. I spent so much of my childhood driving up and down, and I realized that like there's sort of these landmarks that I look for, and as a kid, like you don't really have a concept of time, but you have a concept of like landmarks, and they kind of represent, you know, proximity. I just passed one of the landmarks. Well, it's actually two landmarks right beside each other. One's a, I think it's like a propeller repair shop, like boat propeller, and one is a taxidermy. They're right side by side. We are coming into the town of Duncan, and it's kind of like the first town along the way. So the main towns along the way are Mill Bay, Duncan, Chemainus, Ladysmith, and then Nanaimo. Duncan and Ladysmith are definitely like the bigger ones. And in Duncan, this is where like I was first introduced to thrifting by my dad. So he would pick me up in Victoria, and we would drive to Duncan and do some thrifting. And he was the one to like really introduce this like idea of picking and finding like the treasures, the diamonds in the rough. So there's a lot of nostalgia on this drive, and I'm always just reflecting on the years with my dad and the journeys we took together. We had some really, really rough goes for a while where my dad, he was a creative man, he still is, and for many years he did not have his own car, and for many years he did not have a driver's license, but he still managed to come pick me up, and we would just be driving the biggest pieces of shit vehicle you could ever imagine, where you never were really certain if they were going to make it. Sometimes they didn't make it, and so a few other of the landmarks that I came to know really well were the junkyards, where we would, the auto scrap yards, where we would have to stop and get parts for the vehicle in order to continue driving it. Many overheated cars. Yeah, it was, at the time, I always felt like so scared and just like, Dad, like just the anxiety was real. And I'm really glad that I can now like laugh at all of that and just laugh at my dad's resourcefulness. Like, that man did whatever it took to come get his daughter, which is really cool. I'm about an hour into the journey, have about another hour. Next stop is Nanaimo. I'm gonna hit up the thrift store and then hit up the grocery store, pick up a few things for my daddy-o, and then we're cruising. thrifting was a success. I bought 4 things, all for myself. Got this Roots little shacket type deal. It's got a frayed edge, which I thought was cute. Really nice cream color. I got a bathing suit, which I don't know, maybe that's weird for some people, but I am trying to decide on whether or not I'm going to splurge on like a $200, $300 bathing suit, because that just seems like you either pay $20 or you pay $200. So this is Zaful. I've seen lots of ads for them. We'll see. It may not even fit. And I got a New Balance crew neck, which will be for running. And I got sort of like this, I don't know what color you would call this. It's sort of a greeny gray crew neck as well. It's sort of like an, I don't know, it sort of reminds me of like a yoga style. It's got some slits up the side. So do I need any of these items? No. Did I have a coupon? Yes. So off we go. So Protection Island is right off of like downtown Nanaimo. You can see the island from the city. And it's sandwiched between 2 other islands, so one being Gabriola Island and the other being Newcastle Island. And Gabriola is like the larger of the 3. Newcastle is a provincial park, so it's just for camping and like day trips, day hikes and things like that. And then Protection Island is like just a residential island, and they have their own private ferry service that goes there, and it's just a walk-on ferry. So yeah, it's just small little island. It's very sweet. Walking up this deadly set of stairs, and when I was a kid it wasn't a staircase, it was just a hill. And there was a time when we were running for the ferry, we were gonna miss it, so my dad was like, we gotta run. And I rolled my ankle and like collapsed to the ground and was like, Dad, it hurts. He's like, put your shoe back on. And we continued running. And it turns out I had fractured my ankle. But we caught the ferry. My brother was there and his partner, Courtney, and we just hauled ass. And we moved and stacked a cord of firewood for my dad, which was just like grunt work. And I'm really glad we got it done. My dad's really glad we got it done.
but it was just like, we were in it. I didn't even think to film it. And then we basically finished up and caught the ferry back. So I'm already driving home, and I did not do this vlog justice at all. Didn't get to show you as much as I wanted to, but that's just the way it goes. I am still finding that balance of like recording everything and just being present in the moment, and this just felt like a day to be in the moment. I am so grateful for the time I got to spend with Courtney, my brother's fiance. We were the ones kind of like filling up the truck and moving the wood and like dumping it, and my brother was piling it up, stacking it, and so we had some really good chats. And I always just really like, you know, those opportunities where you're doing something physical and you're also like able to just connect. I'm glad I'm getting on the road. Actually, it's like 6:30 right now, so I've been gone all day. I was on the road by 9:15 this morning. But yeah, it's nice to still be in the daylight. It's actually sunny, and I'm looking at mountains that have like fresh powder. So yeah, just gonna enjoy the drive home. And I am like covered in slivers and little splinters all through my clothes. So I'm gonna have a nice shower when I get home and relax. Just out of the shower, and I am dead. I think I'm finally coming into my body and acknowledging how hard it worked today. And I can feel it in my arms. I can feel it in my hands, just like gripping the wood. What a day. So yeah, just had a shower, threw some laundry on. I tried on all the things I got from the thrift store and they all fit. What a bonus. And I just heated up some leftover dinner from last night. And I'm gonna watch an episode of The Last of Us. It Ends With Us. I think that's the Colleen Hoover book. The Last of Us. I am enjoying it. The first episode, I was feeling like, I'm not ready for another zombie movie or zombie series. I'm not ready to talk about the pandemic or any pandemics, but it is growing on me. That concludes Saturday. Good night. I am having just the laziest morning. I think it's around 9:30 or so, and I've just been drinking coffee and reading my book. And I only have a couple chapters left, and so I've been really contemplating like just powering through and finishing the book. It's the book I showed, Detransition Baby, and I think I am gonna just take a little break because it's such a good book, but every page is so full on. So one chapter can just feel like a whole book. So I think I'm just gonna savor it. I don't need to rush. And the sun is just popping up, and I thought it might be a good time to get outside. I was contemplating going for a run, and I'm still in that pre-contemplative stage. I'm noticing that my body's feeling pretty tired after yesterday, and I kind of woke up with like a full head, like kind of stuffy, kind of congested. So I do have an errand to run, and so I might just walk there, get a little fresh air. There's still lots of time to decide where this day is gonna go, but I do want to take advantage of this sunshine. So yeah, just gonna get myself together a little bit and we'll hit the road. Okay, I don't think I'm hip enough to pull these glasses off. I thought I had actually gotten rid of them
because I've tried them a few times and I'm like, you're pushing it, Corie. But it's not like sunny. And I just found them and I was like, you know what, let's just give these another chance. And it actually makes everything like so sunny and bright. So it's making me feel good. I am walking to Staples to get something laminated that I think I'll share once I've finished it. But I am building a bit of a prototype for a resource that I hope will be useful. I'm being very elusive. I'll show you soon. They're not open for another half an hour. I might just have to browse HomeSense for 30 minutes. That is one thing about the city. Sundays are a bust. I mean, it really does facilitate like a slow Sunday, but there's people waiting outside. I wonder if there's a coffee shop nearby. I do remember that there is a coffee shop that I've never tried, but I've driven past a few times just up the street, so we're gonna go there. Much better. Just got home. I've been talking about these a little bit on my Instagram this week, and it's a new idea that in some ways I feel like I'm going kind of fast with it. I mean, I've thought of the idea and like created something all in 1 week, but there's another part of me that wants to like slow down and just move a bit more intentionally. I've been reflecting a lot lately on my own work ethic and my own experiences with creating, and I can come on like really fast and burn out pretty quickly, and it leads to kind of these feelings of like a half-assed job. So I work in youth mental health and I work one-on-one with youth clients, and a lot of the work is based around goal setting around their mental health and like helping them get to a stronger sense of their own, like how to care for themselves and their own mental health. And one thing that comes up a lot for me is I'll be trying to like engage with them in a conversation and trying to help them kind of push past certain mental blocks. And it can be some really vulnerable work. And I'm asking a lot of them sometimes. And what ends up happening is they answer with, I don't know. And so I'm creating these cards and I'm calling it, oh, you may not be able to read that, but it's what we know about I don't know. And essentially I have created this idea that our I don't knows come from a place of either fear, uncertainty, or there's an unmet need. And so this is a card deck that kind of helps people expand their language beyond I don't know. In my mind, it's a conversation piece where, you know, maybe a client is, or a kid, like this could be really helpful for parents or teachers. You're being met with a lot of I don't knows. You give them this deck of cards that gives them all these alternative answers, and so they can begin expanding their own language and their own understanding. Like maybe they are truly just like unable to see past this, like I just don't know, it just seems too big. So this is meant to be a resource for both the youth, and maybe it would work with adults too. Like I'm still really trying to explore that, but it like client and helper. So not only is it helping the client kind of unpack their I don't know, but then it allows us in the helping role to maybe ask them the question differently, or give them more information. Maybe it raises our awareness as to like our approach and how we're coming at them, and there may be resistance just based on how we're showing up in the work. I'm gonna cut these up, and then maybe I'll talk a little bit more about them and give you some clearer examples. So I've cut them out, and so it's just this deck of cards, and each color represents a different experience of I don't know. Each card has the statement. So the fear statement here is I don't want to disappoint you. So this is the side of the card that the client or the youth, the kid, would be choosing from. So if this is how they're feeling in their moment of I don't know, like I don't want to disappoint you. So you know how that can sometimes like get in our way from speaking our truth because we're trying to accommodate to the needs of others. So they would choose this. And then on the flip side is the tools and possible responses for the helper. In my mind, it's great that the client or the youth, the child, can identify the language, like give more clarity to their I don't know. But then as a helper, we will then need support to respond, because now they're actually speaking their truth, and there is kind of that responsibility or that expectation that we will join them. The unmet need ones are a little more like practical in nature. But with the unmet need, it's kind of like something is getting in the way that maybe needs to be addressed before you can go back into this conversation. Uncertainty seems kind of like obvious, because it's like when we say I don't know, we're kind of saying like I'm uncertain. It's sort of the same thing. But this helps elaborate like what it is that you're uncertain about. And then I've created 3 blank ones so that people can add their own. What I do like about the laminated option is that you could use like a dry erase pen. Like for me, I anticipate having this deck in my car and using it for all my youth clients. So I would have just one singular deck and be able to use it for more than one client. So yeah, this has been a fun project, and I'm really looking forward to fine-tuning it and trying it out this week with some of my kids. It's going to be interesting to see how it flows into conversation, because it's not like every time a kid says I don't know, I'm going to be like, here's the deck. But it could be used more at a time of reflection. So maybe nearing the end of the session, I may have observed a few moments where they were utilizing I don't knows a lot and just been like, hey, can we just maybe take some time to reflect? Well, it has been a very cozy day. I finished my book. I went for that little excursion to Staples, made some lunch, watched another episode of It Ends With Us. The Last of Us? The Last of Us. I haven't even read It Ends With Us. The big accomplishment of the day was finishing my book. I'm now just looking at the other 2 library books I have to see which one I want to read next. And yeah, I'm just going to continue having a relaxing night. I was thinking of going for a sauna, and the pool near my house closes at 6 on Sundays. So Sundays are just really designed for rest, and I am just leaning into that. Yeah, I'm feeling drained, and I'm just learning to not push that. Like, I think getting outside for some fresh air earlier today was enough, and I'm just gonna keep it easy, keep it light tonight. And yeah, so I think I'll end the vlog here. It was a little bit of everything. and that is how my weekends tend to go. I am learning to not overplan or overstructure things, which has been serving me really well. So I hope there was some things that you took away, things that you enjoyed. As always, I love and appreciate engaging with you in the comment section. And if you haven't already, please like and subscribe to my channel. Yeah, so happy Sunday, and we'll see you next time. Bye.